Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of fuckery. We are your disappointed but not surprised co-host. I'm Addie.
I'm Alex.
So tonight we have a very, 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 very special guest.
We are fucking amped for this.
So amped for this.
I was so excited all
God, I'm
day.
doing my shrieking. You know what? I was so excited all day, but I almost I was so excited that I didn't want to get excited because disappointed but not surprised.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
We don't know how this is going to go. And so so our guest is named, I can't even speak. I'm so excited. Our guest name is Hogatha. She is a fucking queen.
Yes.
Kween with a fucking capital. She is... it's like a satire page on social media that I found last year, and I have become so obsessed with her. I think I'm a top badge member of Top Fan on Facebook just because I love her so much.
Her bio says, 1% African, 20% Latinx, colored, vegan fluid, misgendered, non-binary, intersectional feminist, lesbian. I have every participation trophy.
I fucking love her so much. What's her Instagram name?
Hogatha Sisty.
Yeah, Sisty. Cysty. So guys, I'm so excited for this. Alex is so excited for this. I hope you guys are excited for this interview, and I hope you like it as much as we do. So here's Hoggy. We're going to call in. Again, if the audio is a little bumpy, deal with it. Just fucking get over it. But I feel like even at our shittiest audio, our audio is not as bad as one podcast that you listen to.
Absolutely. And they get paid for it.
Right. So pay us, you
Bye.
motherfuckers. Bye. All right, guys, we're going to call into Hoggy. She is in a different state, California. So tune in, and I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys love it as much as we do. All right.
They will.
All right, guys. So I am so excited to introduce this guest that we have on today. Hogatha, say hi to our listeners.
Hi, everybody. This is Hogatha. I hope you're doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm so
Thanks
excited.
for coming on. We're so excited.
Hoggy, I have been obsessed with you I found you on Facebook. My friend Trisha, guys, for anybody that listens, the Trisha that was in the wheelchair, and I'll explain that at a later time to you, Hoggy. But Trisha tagged me in this video, and you're up on stage in full makeup. You're saying that you're vegan fluid, but you're downing bonbons in sushi.
Oh, my God.
And I was in tears, and I feel like you have grown so much in COVID, and just with everybody. I mean, that's when I came on to you, like COVID March, when everything kind of just shut down, and everybody was on their phones, and nobody knew what to do, so everybody's on social media, and that's when I noticed you, and I literally fell in love with you that day.
Thank you. Thank you.
So introduce yourself. Tell everybody, I guess, who you are, what you're about, and I adore you.
Thank you so much. Okay, the funny thing is you mentioned wheelchair. I have a follower who she goes by Wheelchair Girl, and she does, and now we call her the Walking Girl because she's getting some of her abilities back. But it's like, okay, so I created Hogatha before COVID time. And it really did take off, during COVID because people love to pass around things online.
Yeah.
Right.
That are, they find, oh my God, look at this. I can't believe it. They like to, people love to pass around things that are outrageous or whatever. And COVID made me take off. For some people, COVID has been the worst thing in the world for them. It's been the best thing in the world for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's given me time to be home, to create things. And okay, so Hogatha, I created Hogatha out of an experiment. I was bored. But it's the funny thing with Hogatha is a completely made up thing. I grew up in the 80s. I was that kid who came to school wearing makeup. People made fun of me. Can I say faggot on here?
Yeah, you're gay.
Okay.
You can say what you want to say.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'll use my gay card. I was always the big faggot at my school. I got harassed all the time. There were no safe spaces, in the mid to late 80s. You just kind of jumped in and swam. You sank to swim. And so, no one gave a shit about your feelings. So I was the kid who said, fuck it. And I just did whatever I wanted. I wore makeup. The funny thing is I had girlfriends and I had boyfriends too. I shopped around to see who I was and what I liked. And so I noticed today people still do the same things, but they need like a special label for that, or they need special attention for that.
Yeah.
Or they need to be called a hero or something, or some prize for coming out as being who you are. And I just watch it and I think it's really disgusting. Like it kind of really it's very cringy to me to see these people. So I decided I'm going to do this and, my experience in this whole thing. And I'm just going to create a character and I'm going to make it as, how can I put it, as cringy as possible.
It was pretty cringy in the beginning. Like
Yes.
You had a unibrow, you have these warts and these pussing pimples.
Yes. I used to squeeze my pimples. I used to create the pus and eat it. Like I'd make it out of butter and honey and sugar. and people, and you know what I found out? It's funny because doing all of this has really made me think, I'm actually kind of saddened in a way because people believe it. They believed it, and they could not watch me and actually see the satire in it. They, through conditioning, through school, through the media, through our culture, they believed this was a real person, and they were treating this person like they had value. And I don't understand how they couldn't see the performance and the satire behind it, because I'm not that great of a performer. And they just allowed me to be mentally ill.
They really did.
I know. They allowed it and they supported it.
Well,
And
you got to
so-
be politically correct these days,
No, but let me tell you something. People were like, this is Uncle Fester's cousin or something. Somebody commented like, it looks like Shrek had a baby.
And you know what? It really took off, and this is probably what you're talking about with the bonbons. Was there's this black Trump supporter comedian named Terrence Williams, and he played that video, and that really took off, and then people were searching for me on social media, and all of a sudden I get all these likes and people following me and stuff. And then it's funny. There was kind of like three classes of people. There was like one class that believed it and they supported it. The other one completely saw the performance in it and enjoyed it and would actually get involved in it and come up with their own like crazy stories for me to answer, because I started doing like a live show once a week, and I still do it after all this time. And then there were ones who just kind of sat back and watched it because they weren't sure. But slowly people came out and I kind of do this. It's an interactive show, which is one I've never seen other drag performers do, who actually talk to their audience and get to know them. And it's taken off, and I have the most diverse audience I've ever seen anybody else have. I have like handicapped people. I have really lonely people who sit at home. I've had people who are terminally ill watch me and tell me they're watching me as they're dying.
Oh,
And
my God.
Yes, it's crazy. And then I then kind of found out that I started feeling this responsibility for people, and it kind of shut me off. Like it kind of turned me off for a minute.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to do this to be a role model or for people to feel good about what I'm doing. It was the opposite. But I then people are then writing to me about their transgender child, and I'm like, God, I don't know what to say to you. And then it's funny because being this low level performer that I am, I all of a sudden started seeing this responsibility. But I didn't let that bother me. I still kept going. And like the parents would ask about the transgender child, I'd say, well, you're the parent. You don't have to, give them exactly what they want all the time. I mean, We don't feed kids candy all the time because they would want it. So
Right.
you don't have to indulge everything that they believe or say because kids do change over time. So
Yep.
that's the way I handled that. I didn't do the politically correct thing. It's like, don't abuse your child, don't dismiss them, but at the same time, don't make them believe everything that they believe is absolutely 100% true. And I just try to be as honest as I can with people, and people just kind of like what I say, and I'm still doing it. And I kind of turned it into now. Hogatha is a stage performer now. I performed at a club in LA.
That is amazing.
I have a different persona though. I kind of borrow from Divine, drag queen from the 70s and 80s, and I'm making it a stage act. And so and then you guys, found me, and here I am.
I've even seen Hogatha form. Like you were like the way when you started too, it was literally like the pus pimples and the makeup smeared and the hair coming out of the warts. And then on your Instagram now, like you are a fucking queen. Like your makeup's done beautifully. And like even the evolution of everything is just like, I feel like it is almost more like mainstream, like with the performance. I think that's so amazing that you're doing live shows now. Well, how many times a week do you do that? Just a couple have you done it?
No, I've only done one performance. A club in LA asked me to perform there. And I have another one in Orange County that has been interested in a while. I don't even know if they're going yet because of COVID. We're having a lot of weird COVID things here in California where they want a lot of places in West Hollywood now don't even want you there unless you're vaccinated and show a card and stuff like that.
And
Right.
you're not
So
vaccinated, right?
Is that how it is in New York?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. In the city, it's like that. And you're not vaccinated. You don't want that belief in it, correct?
Well, I had COVID in 2020 in January. I worked for Amazon for several years, and I came down with COVID, and it was I'm not going to downplay it. It was horrible, but at the same time, I'm not one to get sick. I've had the flu maybe twice in my life.
Yep.
And I just knew this just really kicked my ass, and it lasted really months. I had a cough for months, and I ended up quitting my job, and so when anybody says it, I don't downplay it at all. But I do think my natural immunity has helped me. I have not even had a cold since then. And I've traveled the country. I'm always in unvaccinated areas with people with different views on that. And I haven't come down, with anything as little as a cold. So I kind of think that my natural immunity has some value. And I wish people would start considering that and measuring that if they can. But you talked about Hogatha changing. It was like an ever-changing thing, and I never really had no plan or direction. I just kind of let the audience kind of lead me in what they wanted. So my whole backstory about Hogatha is that I'm a misgendered woman, which really translates into me being a man who has a very small penis, and I consider my clitoris, my penis. Okay, so when guys get fat, and whatever penis they have gets swallowed up into the fat.
Yeah.
So I said that my micro penis was actually a clitoris, and so I go through life believing that I'm actually a woman because you can't see my penis, and so I pretended that my grandparents raised me, that my mother died of an overdose of a douche of vodka and meth. And 6 months after. And it's funny because I didn't realize how improvisational I was. Because people would ask me questions and I'd go, oh, yeah, this is the answer. But I had to remember my storyline the whole time I'm making it. And my father, I don't know who my father was because my mother was at an orgy, a gangbang, and she got pregnant.
Oh,
and so she didn't know which. And people believe it. And I'm not saying that that's not possible. But Hogatha has every tragedy always. She is a victim of everything. And that was a big part of the character, is that I'm a victim of everything. And, and I have every participation trophy.
You do?
And people start saying, so you're basically a meme. And I go, yeah, I guess I am. I don't know. But I've had so much fun with it. And now, the reason why Hogatha was on the internet, because I have a therapist, and the therapist said, you need to stop being such a shut-in. You have to trust people. You have to be vulnerable, and you have to let them in. So that was my excuse for having all the social media show. I was trying to make friends. And now I've made thousands and thousands of friends around the world. And my confidence has grown the whole time. So that's why I'm now able to go on stage and perform.
Oh my God.
good.
I love that. Yeah, you have like 12,000 followers on your Facebook right now.
Yes, I do. And you know what's so funny? I was really proud of this. This was at the height of Hogatha being, a big freak. When what was it, the 2016 election with Hillary Clinton and Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hillary Clinton had Lady Gaga on stage, as a gimmick to get people to pay attention to her. And so I was watching that, and then I went live. And as Lady Gaga got off of, got off the stage, off of her Facebook channel, whatever they were doing it on, her rating, her viewership dropped down into like 3,000 people. Like everybody was just there just to watch Lady Gaga. And then I go live, and then the height of my live viewers were 93,000 people.
Oh my
so
God.
I tell people, I actually had more viewers than Hillary Clinton.
Holy shit.
Well, you're much
reached-
funnier and much more attractive.
I've never reached that viewership again, but I like to tell people that.
Even with all the pussy warts, you're still much more attractive than Hillary Clinton.
And you know what? People love a disaster. They love to watch a train wreck.
They do.
They love it. But you know what I find more irritating are the people who actually try to rescue Hogatha. They're trying to rescue. You don't know what she's been through, and going on, and it's like I really just want to slap them, and it's like I don't know why it bothers me, but it's like you're the people that I want to reach.
Yeah.
Or especially in fact, I had one today during the show. We call them white knights. There are these people that are heterosexual white, which, I have no problem with white heterosexual people at all. I mean, they created me. But it's like, how can I put it? They're always there to find a problem to solve. And it's like, my husband, he's black. And so people are always trying to, how can I put it, protect me from the racists and the phobics and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I could take care of this myself. And what you call homophobic or racist, I don't necessarily think is homophobic or racist. You're just trying to be a hero.
Right.
Which I almost feeds
or
into
they're
that.
like woke.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
That's it. And it's like those people irritate me so much. I go, you make this worse. You really do. It's like nobody can laugh or have fun anymore. They have to find the victim in the whole story and then act like they're the hero.
Yep.
Well, you even did your ancestry.com one time.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 0.0001 of like African American.
Yes.
And the whole time you were like, I know. I'm going to get in trouble saying this, but the whole time you're like, you can't talk to me. I know what it's like.
I know the struggle. No, but it's true. I do have 1% African, but then again, everybody does. I mean, usually, if anybody does it. And then, you know what I do? I'll tell people that I can completely relate to anybody because I'm the 1% African. Then I'm 20%, I say Latinx, but it's actually Portuguese, which actually were the people who brought the slaves to the country, but people don't know that. So they just, oh yeah, he's Latino. It's like, you dummy. I'm really not, but but I don't know. It's like doing all this things. I honestly realize how stupid people are, and it really breaks my heart.
They're just feeding into it, and then you're telling them the vegan fluid. I think that you telling people that you're vegan fluid is my favorite. You're sitting there just shoving handfuls of dairy and cheese.
Well, because, people were calling me out on that. And it's like, well, if you could be gender fluid, I could be vegan fluid. One day I could be vegan, the next day I'm not. And I still get to be cool because there are some days that I'm vegan and I could tell you how cool I am. And, you have to respect that. But then the thing is, I've turned around and I've even said, even if you eat meat, you're vegan, because all the meat we eat is vegan meat, because the animals that create the meat are vegetarians.
That's facts.
So I am eating vegetarian meat.
I love how you're shoving cheese in your mouth and then you just let a rip of this huge fart and people are like embracing you for your veganism.
Wait, I have my fart right here. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. They don't know that it's a little toy I push a button on.
Actually, I'm going to say I didn't know that was a toilet.
God, if I could fart on command like that, I would be a millionaire.
Wait, you also did a video too that you were like trying to save water, and this is all on Hogatha's YouTube too, so anybody could see it. You were like trying to save water, and or toilet paper during the toilet paper pandemic.
Yes.
You were reusing the same wipe that Marquina was using.
Yes, we have a community coffee can on the side of the toilet that we put water in, and we use a washcloth. And yeah, I mean, I'm in California; it's a drought, so I'm not going to be irresponsible. So I'm going to use a washcloth, and I'm going to wipe. I wipe and I put the washcloth back in the can for Marquina. And, we just use it for a couple days until the water gets really thick, and then we toss it out, and we use it like in our compost pile.
And you filmed it, and I was in tears because you're like, this is how you save toilet paper. You just reuse the same washcloth. And you and your husband or wife on the show, Marquina, were using the same washcloth to wipe your own shit and just wringing it out. And you're like, look, once it's wrung out, it's fine for Marquina to use. I was crying.
I also, around that time, I used a walker for a lot of times before I lost weight, and I went to Walmart and I put a piece of poster board on the walker that said, "I am raising money for toilet paper for people of color." Because, as a white person, I don't believe that I should use my privilege to use disposable toilet paper when there are so many disadvantaged people of color who could use it. So I don't want to be racist and take all the toilet paper, because let's face it, white people have been raping and pillaging since the beginning. So I just don't want to be that person. So I started raising money. So people of color, so toilet paper, and I'll use the washcloth.
Wait, was Marquina in on this too? Was she there with you?
Well, she was filming me. She's the cameraman. It's so funny because people love. It's so funny, and I'm not going to deny. I do walk a tightrope when it comes to race. Okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I know it will trigger people without me actually saying something that might be racist. Because people are they love it. They could say all they want about racism, but people eat it up and they love it. That's why there's a market for it. There's an industry for it, and they push it all the time. So I'm doing the same thing. And so Marquina is black. My guy is black, and he loves it. He comes up with this stuff sometimes, a lot of times. In fact, if you listen to our private conversations, you would swear he's a Klan member. He has the worst mouth when it comes to his own people. So I'm not going to take that away from him. I would be racist for me to shush him. But it's amazing. So we come up with these things that people can interpret into racism, and they love it. They love to jump on it. They love to call you racist. And then I go, it's like, what? You guys have such an appetite for this stuff. This is why it sells so much. So we feed
really
into
do.
it,
Oh my God. But you're 1% African, so you really can't be racist.
Yes, I can always fall back on it. It's so funny because, I actually do have a large black audience, and they'll watch me, and they love it. And in fact, there's this one, she's a body artist who lives up in Napa Valley, California, with, oh my God, a black person lives in the rich area. Who would believe? But anyway, she's an artist, and she wants me to come up and her do body paint on me.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah, she wants to do a photo shoot. But it's like then I'll get all kinds, and I'll get the people who just see nothing but racism, and I'll tell them, well, I'm 1% African, and they'll say, oh, that don't mean anything, and then I'll say, well, you know what, my wife's black, so now what? Well, you know what, slave masters have sex with their slaves. Like, are you insinuating that I am a slave master?
Oh.
And my wife? Yeah, they take it that far, and I'm like, you people are really sick, and it's really sad.
I feel
really
like,
sad.
yeah, I feel like Marquina is very well aware of who she married and is equally in this, and you are not the slave master at all.
No, Marquina actually pursued me.
Did
she? Very much so. Oh, yeah. No, we met on, Grindr?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's several types of grinders that maybe the heterosexual community don't know. There's Grindr. Then there's one called Growler, which is...
I think I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, they say it's for the bear community, which means just a big, fat, hairy gay guy, okay? So, because the gay community is kind of splintered off. It's not one homogenous, loving community. And then there's... we met on one called Scruff. And Scruff is one that's geared to more of the masculine gay. The kind that, you wouldn't look at the profile pictures and see tweezed eyebrows and lipstick or lip gloss or anything. It's more the masculine sort of guy, kind of gay guy. And so I'm thumbing through there, and then I see his picture. I'm always cute, and he sends me a message. Like, he didn't beat around the bush, and he didn't say, hey, send me a picture of your butthole. He didn't say any of that. He said, hey, do you want to meet me for dinner?
That's
and
nice.
I'm like, I've never met somebody who was so forward but so polite at the same time.
Right.
Usually send me a dick pic or whatever. And it's like, no, he meant business. He wanted to meet me and start something. And so I said, sure.
That is so sweet.
And so we meet at a Mexican place, and we've been together ever since.
How long ago was that?
9 years ago.
Wow. I didn't realize you guys were together for that long.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. I love Marquina, by the way. Tell her I said hi.
I will. She's out in her wood shop. She's a woodworker.
My favorite is that you literally just put this huge afro wig on her and is like, this is Marquina.
I wish she would wear it more. She likes to wear the blonde. She likes to wear the blonde wig more.
And you guys... there was this one video that you guys did, and you were in the bathtub together, and I think you had to remove it because you're like, Marquina's clit showed. Like, we had to take it down. I guess her dick and her balls were out in like one segment of the video. We went to Vegas, and we stayed at a certain hotel there that people probably don't want to hear about, but owned by the previous administration. But anyway, we're staying at the hotel. And we made it part of the gag that because Marquina is a total Trump supporter. So, and I'm like, we did a video of us driving to the hotel, and it's a big surprise. Well, Marquina's taking me to the hotel in Vegas, and it's a big surprise. And then we pull up to the hotel. I go, oh my God, I can't believe you're bringing me here. So anyway, but it was, so followers sent us champagne there. I had a bunch of gifts to open from people, and the bathtubs there are huge and luxurious. That if for anything else, I would go there just for the bathtubs. And because I don't fit in a normal bathtub. And so, and we were both in it. And we're both I'm 6'4", and Mark is 6'1". And, I'm just under 300 pounds, and he's about, 230. So we're pretty big guys. And so we're in the bathtub, and I did a live from there, and we're opening our champagne and drinking. I'm opening up gifts and stuff. Well, later on, I go back and look at the live footage because it was all live. And I go to YouTube, and there's areas where, my audience is saying, oh my God, we could see Marquina's taco. And I'm like, no, you can't. And I'm trying to, position him in a different way. But yeah, you can see his junk. And so I had to remove that from YouTube. But the footage for Facebook was okay. I love how you say it's Marquina's clit. I was like crying at that.
No, but people love it. They love it. We have a great time doing it.
So, and continue. Sorry.
No, that's it. I was just saying we have a lot of fun doing it. And the funny thing is, Marquina, he's so we had to make a storyline for him, and it's like, okay, he's a Marine. He was in Desert Storm, And he's like, he's never done this before, ever. He's never been involved in the performance or the drag scene or anything. And he's, I started doing it. And he kind of like wanted to put his toe in the water. And so he's like, hey, I could come on if you want me to. I'm like, okay. So now he wants to come out now. But he doesn't like to like show his whole face. So that's why the glasses and the wig and all that.
Yeah.
But he's like a big hit. People love Marquita. And sometimes I'll like nudge him because he'll say things that I don't want him to say because I'll get banned. So it's like I'm always trying to police him more than anything. But yeah, he has a great time with it. People love him.
People love Marquina. Like he came on in the background a few times and they were like, who is that walking in and out? And then like you introduced him to everybody. And I feel like everybody's just fallen in love with Marquina as well.
They have, they've fallen in love with my mother too. My mother, I would refer to her because I remembered, my storyline, my mom is dead.
Oh,
so
yeah.
How do I bring my mom? So I started calling her Gladys. Gladys Gladys is my grandmother's best friend. And she's kind of become my surrogate grandmother since my grandma died. So that's kind of how I worked my mom into it. And, I've done lives from her house and people are, oh, hi, Gladys. They love her. My mom does not like to be on camera at all. But people have sent her gifts too. Like they'll send a little gift. Oh, this is for Gladys. And I'll take it to my mom and she'll open it. It's so that, you know what? I mean, I know I talk shit a lot, but I've met some really, really wonderful, wonderful people doing this. And so, it's not all negative. I've met some great friends doing this. And there are really some very, very generous people in this world that amazes me, more generous than I will ever be. And so it's really humbling to see. At the same time, there's so many screwed up people. There are so many really normal, good people.
Well, so what I was going to ask before is you get like a lot of fan mail and a lot of gifts. Like you broke out one time the scarf and these sunglasses and people send you so much stuff. Does it get like overwhelming sometimes?
Yes. And I've come to the point where I'm trying to figure out what to do with it because a lot of people who send me things, they're sending things for Hogatha and not the person behind Hogatha.
Right.
So I end up with like a lot of little girl stuff. And my room is very creepy. Like I really, and I get tired because I mean, I am a gay man. I am gay. That doesn't mean I like girly stuff.
Right.
I mean, of course I do like some, but like stuffed animals and dolls and like rainbow hair accessories and also people. It's another thing. You kind of start seeing how people think about this about us, like the stereotype of what a gay man is. I get all kinds of rainbow stuff. It's like I don't own any. Like I don't consider myself part of the LGBTQ community. I'm just a homosexual.
Yeah.
I just think it's a whole different thing. And so yeah, I have a lot of this kid stuff, and I've been wondering what to do with it. So I'm wondering, like the really, really kid stuff. I think I'm just going to give them to my nieces and nephews. I'll probably do that. Just get a big, huge gift bag and send it to them. But there are some things that people have sent to me that are quite thoughtful. Like people have knitted me things, and I'll keep that stuff. I had a woman once send me this. You know that designer Betsy Johnson?
Betsy Johnson's fantastic.
Yes, she sent me this Betsy Johnson backpack, and yes, I did look at the value. It's a $120 backpack. I went online and Googled it. Filled with makeup. Like I don't know, she must have been a makeup distributor or something. But it's funny. I only saw her a couple times on my show, and she said, "Can I send you some stuff?" I said, "Sure, go ahead." I had to create a PO box because I don't want people to send me things to my home.
Yep.
So I just all of a sudden I go to the post office and I have all these blue tickets in my PO box, and each ticket is like a box. And I'm like, I can't believe all this stuff. But this woman sent me that, and it was just completely filled with makeup. And I was amazed. I'm like, this is a big value. And it's so thoughtful because I'll even notice how much people pay to ship something. And sometimes it's $65 to send me something.
Whoa.
And it's just, yeah. Like I had friends in Wales, in the UK, who sent me stuff too. And they were trying to sneak me in some haggis because I've never had it. And they were talking about,
What is that?
It's a dish. It's like a sheep's stomach.
Oh.
Yes, filled with like ground up sheep lungs.
Wait,
and
is it
other
like food?
stuff.
Is it like you eat it?
Yes.
But you're
It's
vegan
like-
fluid. No.
It-
But the
it is-
sheep is
I guess it's
vegetarian, so it's fine.
right? I'm telling you, all meat is vegan. So I guess it's the national dish of Scotland.
Okay.
And but I was researching online. Apparently, it tastes a lot like our meatloaf, and I'm willing to try anything. Plus, I was telling people this time, send me food from your region, from your culture, whatever, and I'll eat it online, which I know is dangerous. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't think about the danger.
It's like
I was thinking
arsenic.
about the
No.
fun. Yeah, right. I think about the fun. I mean, I've always been a risk taker, but so they sent me a box with all kinds of goodies from the UK, but Customs did open up the box and remove the haggis because I guess it's illegal in the United States. I don't know why, but
I wonder
Were
if
you kind of
whatever.
lucked out there.
Yeah, I feel like you're not missing much. That's crazy that they can go through your things and like remove like sheep intestines or whatever.
there's a girl actually right now. She said she sent me something like months ago, and I still haven't received it. And I always feel bad because I've had that happen before. Like months later, I'll get a box and it will be completely destroyed.
Aw.
And yeah, so I lost faith in our postal service. But yeah, but I get the most thoughtful things, like blankets that people will make me. I don't know. It's a really amazing. As much fun and debauchery as there is doing this, there is like a side of it that's very sweet. I meet the sweetest people.
Have you met a bunch of people in person off of Facebook? Or you kind of like stay away from meeting them in real life because you don't know what they're like?
I have met. Okay, I do have a friend that I met. He's in Phoenix, which isn't far from me. It's like a 5-hour drive. And I know this is weird. Okay, I was going to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. I don't know if you guys call it the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a hellhole. No matter where you go,
It's
Oh, yeah.
purgatory.
Okay, so you guys like wait hours in line and hours.
Yep.
Wait, okay. We have a DMV here in California that's on the border of Arizona and California. And that's only 2.5 hours for me. I will literally drive that far just to not stand in line. Because there's
my
nobody-
gosh.
Yes, there's nobody there. So we decided, hey, why don't we take a trip into Arizona, which is another 2.5 hours, into Arizona to Phoenix. So we can meet this one guy. And so we met him, and he's like the greatest guy. He took us around Phoenix. He, took us to these different bars and hangout places, and we had a great time. And he pops up on the show once in a while. I'll highlight his comments and stuff. And we've been there. I've been there twice to visit him, and we're going to go again for Halloween. He used to work in Hollywood, and he's like an Emmy winner. And he puts on these great parties and everything. And so we're going to go there for Halloween for a party.
We want to come. No.
I know, huh? I mean, it's weird because you never know who you're going to meet online. A lot of these like faceless, nameless people, are pretty fabulous. And I know there's another one. I found out she lived 14 miles away from me. She's an interesting woman too. I don't know if you've heard of Spearmint Rhino.
No.
It's a strip club. It's like
Oh.
a chain strip club. And it's really from the 80s. I don't know if they still exist, but it was a big thing at one time out here. And she was like their cover girl, and she was like their featured dancer, and she traveled the world as their ambassador and stuff. And she's a very interesting woman. And I found out she lives up in the mountain resorts above me. And so me and Marquina went and visited her. And then the next time we went and visited her again and did a show from her house on the 4th of July because she like has fireworks over the lake where she lives. But she's a very nice, interesting person. And so she's had like some health problems. And so we hang out. She just got her hip replaced, and now she's getting some Restylane pumped in her face this week. And so she's getting back out there. And so, I've met her and we're good friends. Okay, so there are also some people that I've never met personally, but we text and talk on the phone, FaceTime or whatever. And but I really don't. Let me see. I don't really like to I like to keep it small, like the circle, because there is one guy that I've recently had to, they call it ghosting. I've had to completely ignore. He was a real good supporter of my show. Like, he would send me money all the time. And it's funny, as even though I'm performing and people like to tip, and that's the only reason why I kind of set out my virtual tip jar, Venmo and Cash App. Yeah. And I never asked for money, but people have said, we want to send you money, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay. So he would send me money all the time. And even when I'm not on, I would just get an alert on my phone and there's money there. And I'm like, why is he sending me so much money? Well, maybe he's just, rich and whatever. But he ends up being a dog groomer in Florida. And I think he's kind of obsessed, but he has a partner. And then all of a sudden, it's almost kind of like he thought he owned me. Like, he would try to then start critiquing what I'm doing. And I don't like this.
Hell no.
Yeah, no.
And then one time, like Marquina, Marquina will say, God damn it. And he goes, I don't like when he says that. He goes, so I'm not going to watch you for a while. And I'm like, okay, don't.
Then don't watch. Yeah, you don't dictate my show. It's my show.
Yeah, but it's so funny how people are. Like, he wants to act like he's like this religious person, but yet he's like cheating on his husband with somebody else, and he's lusting after the pool boy and sending me pictures of him. And it's just weird how people sort of prioritize their morals.
Yeah,
and I just think it's strange. So he stopped watching me for about a month, and then he popped up with a new phone number and texted me. He goes, "Hi, this is my work number." And so I eventually I'm not even gonna. I don't want to talk to him anymore. I don't really need the money, or everybody needs money, of course, but it wasn't enough money to change my life.
Right. It's not like he's sending you thousands a week or anything like that, where you're like, no. I can deal with this.
Yeah. So I ran into that. And so that's made me like careful about, how close I get to people privately, outside of the show.
Right. Well, you never know what people's agendas are these days, or like, people are weird.
Yes, they are.
People, people are like not okay these days.
No, and I feel, it's so funny. I find myself feeling sorry for a lot of people. I never realized how lonely a lot of people were either after doing this. People like they say, "Oh God, you're the only thing that brings me happiness. I'm so depressed," and blah 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 blah. And they're going on and on and on and on. I'm like, a lot of people do that. And I'm like, I don't really, and that made me back off of even looking at my messages. For a while, I had a girl who volunteered. She goes, "I'll go through your messages for you, and I'll kind of be a secretary. I'm bored. I'm not working." I go, "Okay." But that became a problem. But I was thankful at least that she would do that, screen through all the weirdos and screen through all that, because I'm like, listen, I have my own problems in life. When I turn off the camera, I'm a different person and I have my own life. And I don't like reading these messages from people who are telling me how depressed and sick and terminally ill they are all the time.
Yeah, you're not their savior. You can't be their God.
And you're doing this for fun, not
you're not like Tony Robbins on stage, like trying to heal people.
No, it's it's like when I'm reading that, they're taking the fun out of it for me, because it's like, I'll tell you, I'm like, honestly, I am more entertained a lot of times than the audience. I'll after I'm done, I'll turn off the camera. A lot of times I'll take a shower and I'll just watch the show, and I just crack myself up.
Well, the comments that people give you, like I was even in your live video today, like somebody commented, like I was saying this to you before, I was watching it and somebody commented in there, and you're like, "Oh honey, I don't think you should be part of my show. Go back to your
glory hole.
Glory holes."
Yeah, because he was clearly a homosexual who had a problem. I'm like, no, I go, trust me, I'm a gay guy who don't care. I don't care. So, they always try to bother me. They always try to get me on something. It's like, dude, it's not working. I don't care. I don't live in that world that you live in.
Have you had like a favorite comment or like a favorite performance that you've ever given? That one that sticks out to you, or they kind of all just blend?
Okay, I can't, I guess, name. Okay, wait. One that's good, one that's bad. Okay, so I really enjoy, and I really enjoy what I used to do, and I haven't. Okay, I have a green screen behind me, and I'm learning this technology as I'm going along.
Oh yeah, you got a new computer today, I think, right, or something.
Yes, today was my second show using my new computer, which I'm still trying to figure out. But I got the lighting, I got a green screen, I now have a program, I know how to put pictures behind me, and for a while, what was going on is guys would be watching me, and they'd go, "Oh, you're a freak, you're ugly, or this and that." And so I'm just looking at it and watching it, and people are saying, "Hogatha, I think John Smith needs attention." So what I would do is I would then go to their social media and I'd look through their pictures while I'm still talking to the audience, and I would get all this information. And now I wouldn't do this to they really had to deserve it. And then I would pull up like a really ugly picture of them, and then I would put it on the green screen. I'd put it on the green screen behind me, and I would pick out every flaw on him. And of course, me looking the way I am doing it is hilarious because they may even be good looking, So I would tell them, I go, you are good looking. I'll give you that, because I'm not one that I'm not going to, how can I put it? I'm not going to tell like obvious lies. I mean, if everybody, I think everybody has like a universal image of what handsome or good looking is. And so I'm like, you're a good looking guy, but you probably have a really small penis. You probably have bad breath. You probably, I would say stuff like that. And you know what? Really, the women loved it. The women absolutely loved it when I'd tear these men apart. And so that is something that I really enjoyed that doesn't really seem to happen a lot anymore because I think I used to be shared a lot in these troll groups. And I think that I've just kind of been shared out. And I think people kind of get the joke now, or they just don't want to be a part of it anymore. So I just have a core audience that sticks with me now. But one of my favorite things, which I didn't expect, was one of these guys, he was a troll. He came after me and stuff. And he was from London. And he's like tearing into me and stuff. He goes, "What are you doing?" And, asking me. And come to find out, he was one of these guys that actually hunt down pedophiles online.
Whoa.
And yes, he meets them in person and then he exposes them on camera. And I loved it. And I'm like, oh my God. So he was confused about who I was because in his mind, I was some sick pervert online. And somehow he connected that. He connected that to what he does for a living. And we've become friends since then. And it's like, and that's another thing that I do that I don't see other people do is I don't automatically block people because they insult me. And I don't, get rid of them. I will actually talk to them and I'll say, "Why do you hate me?" This and that. Then I'll say, "What's your favorite song?" And then I'll find the karaoke version of song on my computer and I'll sing to them. And then I kind of like make a joke about it all. But the thing is, a lot of the trolls, the people who attack me, actually end up becoming my fans. Because
absolutely.
They realize what I'm doing. And I did it with this guy in London. He goes by the name Sheriff Hunter. And he has part of a whole ring of people that actually, they hunt pedophiles. And I go, "You know what? Of course, you didn't like me at first, but now that we understand each other, I absolutely love what you do. And he loves what I do now. But there was just a misunderstanding. He thought I was some pervert online trying to,
like lure little kitties in."
Right. And I mean, which I still kind of like, why would you think that? I don't have kids on my show. I don't talk about kids. Just because you're seeing a big man in makeup, doing this, you've automatically, I think that maybe kind of fixed maybe a prejudice that he had that, gay men or, trans people or whatever are automatically, kid fuckers, and they're not.
Right.
So
No.
I think that probably opened up his eyes a little bit too. So I'd like to think a lot of things what I'm doing is kind of educational at the same time.
That is so crazy that this guy literally hunts pedophiles for a living online and like exposes them.
Yes, and what he does, isn't it great? He he goes, I said, "I would love to do that." He goes, "Well, why don't you?" I go, "Well, I don't even know what you can do." I go, "In the United States, they love the criminals so much. What can you get away with?" And he's like, "You don't have citizens arrest there?" I go, "I think we do, but I don't think people actually do it."
No.
Or yeah, I go, "No, but they actually have that. They can hold somebody. The police come, they show them all the evidence on their phones and stuff, and then they take them in."
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really risky.
really expose people on your show with this.
Yeah, and then get your
I
ass
know.
kicked.
Yeah, and then get your ass kicked. Yeah, maybe it's better to stay out of it.
But that's that was an example of something that I loved that turned out that was a negative, but that was one of my favorite things about since I've been doing Hogatha that happened.
I love how you're just calling people out on your green screen and like pulling their pictures up and saying they have a micro dick or something like that.
Oh, you know what? I also, it's so funny because I don't know if it's our culture or whatever, but people will kind of have a soft spot, say, for like the handicap or senior citizens or whatever. We kind of give people like a break on stuff where they love it. I will talk about the handicap people. I have a guy named Huge Ass who watches my show. He's in a mobility scooter. He has some kind of handicap or of some kind. He hasn't really shared it, but he has shared that he's in a mobility scooter, and I'll make fun of him, and he loves it. So the girl, we had talked about wheelchair girl. Wheelchair girl, she is very young and she's in a wheelchair. And I asked her one day. I'll ask the questions that people
don't want to ask. Yeah.
Right. And I'll ask them and I'll say, how did you get in your wheelchair? And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you did. She has a story. She's no different than anybody else. So she can tell it if she wants to. And so she said, her ex-boyfriend threw her down a flight of stairs.
Oh my God.
And crippled her.
Oh,
yes, isn't that terrible?
Gosh.
And so I use that opportunity to tell girls, hey, you never know. Be careful about who you're screwing. He might throw you down the stairs. And then after that, she's like to really have bad luck. She then met a new guy. She seems to move fast. And she gets a new guy and she loved him. And she sent me pictures of her and him privately because she talked to me privately too. And well, that's great. I'm glad you met somebody new. Come to find out, he was a pedophile and had child porn on his laptop. So he got thrown in jail.
No,
and then she lost,
fucking way.
She lost him, and now she's with another guy, and she had a baby and all that stuff. And so she would come on and say, "Oh, I'm pregnant," and she would share pictures of her sonogram, and I would still joke. I go, "Wheelchair girl, I notice your baby doesn't have a wheelchair. Does it grow? It's like I love reaching that uncomfortability of humor because the thing is, I'll often do it. Like I'll walk around, in the store and stuff, and I'll see people in a wheelchair, and I will see people just kind of walk past them where, able-bodied people who we look at. And I'm like, people don't even look at these people. They don't acknowledge them as real people. And I do that. So I make fun of them on the show. I treat them like everybody else, and they absolutely love it. The man who's in the mobility scooter, he goes by the name Huge Ass. He said, he was having problems one day because kids were coming to his mobile home, and they were slashing the tires on his mobility scooter.
That's not nice. Kids are little fuckers.
I know. And I go, and I'm telling him, well, you have a big fat ass, so I'm sure you need that mobility scooter. And there was somebody in my show who contacted him and bought him tires that were that didn't have air, so you couldn't pop them. And they sent them to him. He lives in Texas. And I'm like, out of all this fun and stuff that we're all having together, this huge diverse group of my audience, making fun of each other and having fun, there's actually these good things that come out of it. And that's like kind of one of my favorite things. I loved knowing that he got new tires.
That is amazing. It's what's so funny. It's so the way I found you, and I was saying about how the girl Trisha, like we joked Trisha from the wheelchair because the whole story. It's on one of the podcasts, Claude in the wheelchair. Claude, this guy on the show, his girlfriend found out that he hearted this girl's picture, and he was like, "No, Trisha's in a wheelchair. I was just being polite, and she's not in a wheelchair." He just kind of had to like play it off or whatever. So, and then like he's like, "Thank God Trisha doesn't have any pictures of her standing up." So I played it off that she's in a wheelchair, and I was just being kind, and this whole thing. So Trisha was the one who initially, led me to you, and I'm in this group with all these Facebook members, and we call ourselves Fight Club, and we've been in this group for like 8 years or 6 years or something like that. And we've formed this group, and it's like 133 people now, and we've narrowed it down from this big car group because we're all in the car business to this small group, which is now family. And a lot of us have not even met each other, but like one girl's mom got cancer. and she couldn't afford to pay for a lot of the supplies, and she was dying and the funeral. So the group got together, and I think we raised like $7,000 for her. And I've never
awesome.
met her. And like, this is just what we do as a community. And it just is so nice that none of us have never even met each other, most of it, but we are so tight with each other that like, it just, you know, and I think it's just a beautiful thing.
And one minute you're like shitting on the person, and then the next minute you're like sending them money for
because we literally shit on each other, like how you shit on everybody in your group. Like one of the guys has a big head, and like for his birthday, they put all these heads on like these hot air balloons and like created his head as a hot air balloon, but we're like shitting on this guy. But yet if something happened and he needed a place to stay or he needed money because somebody was sick, we'd be there for him in a minute. And I think that like, I don't know, I have such like a high regard for the way you operate, and you know, like it's just it's so nice, and it's refreshing to have you be real about things instead of like being so politically correct because you're going to offend everybody. Like people love the realism, I think.
Definitely.
Yes, I do. I sure as fuck do.
I do too. And it's like, you know, it's like, I'll tell people, it's like, you know, it's weird. We've kind of normalized sitting around and crying and being depressed and just wallowing in our pain and glorifying our flaws and the things that, you know, I'm like, well, whatever happened to people laughing and making fun of each other? You know, I mean, of course, you don't attack someone to make fun of them, but when you're in with like-minded people, with friends, and you're in a, I guess, so-called safe space, you know, there used to be a time where people used to, you know, kind of nudge each other and make fun of each other, and then they'd make fun of you, and everybody had a good time. And then you kind of realize that all of us are fucked up, and it's like, it's just some you could see it and some you can't, and we all have our problems, and it's great just to get around and laugh and have a good time. And I see these kids nowadays, especially on TikTok, they just don't know how to have fun. They don't know how to have a good time. They don't know how to lighten a mood. They don't know how to have, like, you know, a laugh at something. And they're just so sensitive about everything. And everything has to be, you have to cry about stuff or be so sensitive. And I just think it's so morbid. And I think that in itself is depressing.
It's horrible.
And it's like, it is. It's like, you know, I was watching, like I now watch old TV like Don Rickles and all these insult comics that just have a great time, and people used to enjoy that kind of stuff. And it's like now I'll watch, like, do yourself a favor and watch like young like college comedians, and you're sitting there thinking, how is this funny? They're all talking about their gender and their sexuality, and it's like, that's not funny stuff. I don't think it's funny. It's just, I don't get it. And I don't know why. I don't know. I'm starting to believe, like, you know, we have been invaded by aliens, and they've been implanting aliens in women for, like, you know, 30 years now, because everybody's so weird.
I agree.
Well, that's why Alex and I started this podcast. Like, it's called Disappointed But Not Surprised. And Alex and I have been through a lot of shit. Like, Hogatha, I'm going to be 10 years sober, recovered from a heroin and crack addiction. Alex has been through.
Awesome.
Thanks. Alex has been through, and I have been through relationships that will, like, if we tell the stories, people's mouths will drop, and it's just like, it's horrible. But we ended up forming this podcast because we're like, we've been through so much shit, but we still laugh about everything, and we laugh about ourselves. And the only way to get through life is to kind of like laugh
just
it off.
Make fun of yourself and like all the shit.
Right. And that's what I found out. It's like, if you can, like, just kind of bare your soul and laugh at yourself and allow people to laugh with you, it's just so much fun. And I think it gets people loose, and they can talk about their shit too and laugh at it. You know, I don't like people talk about their shit, but, you know, I don't want to hug you while you're doing it. I'd rather laugh with you while you're talking about it.
Right. Absolutely. Like, give yourself a moment to, like, grieve or whatever, but, like, get over it. And everybody's so sensitive nowadays. Nobody, like you were saying with the TikTok, like, there's always these crying videos, and everybody's like in tears, and everybody's sensitive, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
Well, it's a feel bad for me contest, and it's like, you're not getting sympathy from us, that's for sure. But
I'll watch those videos of the people crying, and I'm thinking, did they do that in one take? Like, it's like, And I'm thinking about the process of them planning this video, holding their finger on their phone and then crying and then it not turning out the way they want it. Then they have to erase it and start it all over again. And I'm thinking, how awkward is that you are trying to create this organic moment of your sadness and you actually have to produce it. And there's just something very strange to me about that.
It is so bizarre. It is so bizarre. I'm gonna comment that on these TikToks now. Like, how many takes did that go through for you to get the perfect cry? Fucking loser.
They're like spraying their face with water.
Yeah, the mist.
I mean, they're finding the right lighting in their car. They're, and then after they do it, then they have to find the proper music to go with the mood. It's are you doing
a sad
this?
Song.
Are you still crying the whole time? I mean, because I'm going to believe this is a true moment where you're really devastated. So are you bawling, looking through the music for the right, sound? It's just so funny. I'm producing my own mental breakdown here on TikTok.
TikTok's the worst. You're on TikTok. Tell people how to find you so everybody knows.
Okay. God, I think I'm Hog Kitty and then the number 2.
Okay.
I've been banned from there.
So are we. So are we.
We shot a potato gun at Alex's neighbor's house because he was stalking her, and we posted the video of our launching fucking potatoes, and TikTok banned us.
That's what I heard. They're very sensitive about guns because, I've shown my gun on Facebook and stuff, and they don't say anything. But I guess on TikTok, you'll get banned or deleted or whatever.
Yeah, we violated community guidelines.
Yeah, we totally got taken down, so we had to make a new one again.
Mine, they're never specific. They'll just kind of give that generic, guidelines and, you whatever. But I'm the biggest people who get me are probably people in the LGBTQ community. They always attack me. They're always sending me mail saying, I can't believe that you're doing this. You're making fun of transgendered people. I said, who said I was making fun of transgendered people? I go, you're watching me, assuming that's what I'm doing.
Right.
And what I've said was, because, and I've told this to people in serious conversations, because I used to do this kind of pretty character, which really wasn't a character. It was just a look. And that I was a classic drag queen that would go out on a stage and just lip sync to Madonna or Cher or whatever. And I got bored with that. I thought it was very boring. And I noticed that drag in general to me has become very boring. They've all turned into clones of each other. It's they're all very similar. So I'm I want to change this up. And that's why I'm kind of blending Hogatha into a drag act because, how can I put it? They, the people have written to me and saying that I'm putting down the trans community. I said, I never even use the word trans when I refer to myself. I always say I'm a misgendered woman.
Yeah, you're gender fluid or whatever, or misgendered. Yeah, because you're micro. Yeah. You're enlarged clitoris.
And I tell them, I go, and please don't come after me. I go, the gay men have been dragging heterosexual women for hundreds of years. I said, I am now dragging, if you want to call it that, I'm now dragging the new modern woman, right? You're saying that people with penises can be women, right? You don't have to be fully transitioned to be called a woman. You can have a beard and a hairy chest and be called a woman. So you're not going to play that game where you're going to say I'm making fun of it when I'm doing exactly the same thing to this type of woman that you have been doing to classic women for hundreds of years. So don't act like, all of a sudden I'm doing something bad and you're doing something holy. And that really bugs them when I say that. And I don't have any friends in the drag community anymore. But that is one thing about the drag community that's really been pissing me off is they all now pretend to be on the spectrum of trans. And that was never, ever a thing, ever. And now they're pretending that it is so they can capitalize on this moment of gender confusion. And
it's
there's
such
quite
a movement too.
Oh, it's the new gay because gays aren't victims anymore. So now the whole machinery that is behind the LGBTQ community, the leaders, whoever they may be, they've decided, well, gay is no longer a problem. So now we got to create a new population of confused people that we can make victims. And it's just that's the way I see it, and it's just I just hate it. I that's why I don't call myself. I'm not part of the ABC cult anymore.
What is it? The alphabet people is what.
Yeah.
Who said that? Chappelle or whatever?
He's true. It's right. He's true. It's a cult. And I'm telling you, they all think alike and they're all crazy. And it's like, God, I'm just gay and I'm having fun and I'm wearing makeup. That's it. So I'm not part of your agenda, whatever you guys want to call it.
Right.
But it's just, I hate it. I do.
Do they send you like mail about it, or do they write you like long things on Facebook and stuff?
It'll be on Facebook. It'll be messages. It'll be like a lot during the live, when I'm doing my live thing, they'll send me messages. And TikTok's been the worst. Because people love to be, they love to police others. They love that. I don't know why they don't go through police academy if they really want to protect people, and why don't they really actually go out there and do something brave and, protect people. But they're constantly, trying to, even if they're like old ladies. Like when I was a kid, this is how you would describe an old lady, as being nitpicky and judging and watching your every movement and trying to, move you in the right direction. It's like they're always trying to like shame you for the dumbest things. And I'm like, I'm not a part of that. I don't get it. And for some reason that's so fashionable right now to, be a hero and try to, make something of yourself by exposing others who, are doing wrong in their eyes. And I hate it.
Well, everybody, like even Alex was saying, everybody's so woke and everything's so politically incorrect now. And everybody has their opinions on everything, and nobody can take a fucking joke anymore.
Well, right. And I was watching something. I can't remember who said it. And it was so true that these kids and these young people no longer have role models because nobody is good enough anymore. Just like they were, when Alex Trebek died, and they were having all these guests on Jeopardy and stuff, a guest host. And who's that? Who's Blossom? I don't know her name, but she was going to be there. And apparently they went back in her Twitter feed and found something problematic in 2005 that she wrote.
Give me a fucking break. In 2005, right. She's in. Yes. She was the Blossom, the old Blossom that was now in what's that nerdy show, the Freaks and Geeks or whatever it was. I know who you're talking about. I know. Yeah, I can't remember the show name, but she plays a nerd or whatever. And yeah, they found something problematic in her past that she said on Twitter that probably wasn't even problematic. Like, what the hell does that word mean anymore? But so she was not able to be a host on the show, and they were using her to replace somebody else that they canceled because he wasn't good enough. So everybody is like looking in the past of all these people, and they're finding anything that could remotely be offensive to anybody, and they're getting rid of them. And it's like, and then I was watching this one person commenting on all of this, and he said, the problem is these people have no role models anymore because no one's God. No one's perfect. Nobody's
and that's
perfect.
The truth. No. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't get it.
That's crazy. They really do dig up some shit. Somebody said to me recently, they're like, I hope you never run for politics one day. I was like, dude, I said, I have a podcast about micro wieners. I could never run for fucking politics.
No. What are they going to do? They're going to have to create it in a computer program. Oh, this is our leader now. This computer program. That's perfect. That's
seriously.
I know, because that's the whole thing is, I love that these people, they think they're so perfect. They think they've not done anything in life. I mean, at this point, if you've laughed at anything, you're a horrible person because you're obviously laughing at somebody else's tragedy or you're laughing at somebody else's expense. So, now we're not even allowed to laugh. Like if somebody slips on a banana peel and you laugh at it, now all of a sudden you wish they were dead and you're innocent. You know what I mean? They take it that far.
Alex and I are the worst with that. We're at a racetrack, like at Riverhead Racetrack one day, and this guy in all denim, he slips up the stairs going to there, and we lose our shit. We're in tears crying.
And we were getting the dirtiest looks, though, from people. Like, you didn't help him. You just laughed in his face.
People would be really mad. Okay, like me and Mark, you know what the Golden Corral is?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't necessarily like the food, but Marquina will request that we go eat their food. So he can make fun of the fat people. It's so true. We'll be sitting there. He wants to get a table closest to the buffet line as possible. And we'll sit there, and then he'll say, oh, my God, look at her. And then you'll see all the kids behind her like little ducks, and they're all fat, and they all sticking their fingers in the pudding. And he's like, look at this. Look at this kid. These kids have no hope. I mean, the whole time it's just – and the thing is, I used to be a really fat person. I used to weigh 450 pounds.
You were heavy
big,
back in the day.
I know. I was a fatty. And so that's why I stopped trucking. I was a trucker. And all I did was eat at buffets, eat at the greasiest diners everywhere across the country. And I got big and fat. It was perfect because I love food. But one day I'm sitting there in the front. And this is why I hate people who are into body positivity. I'm sitting one day in the front in my truck, and I'm eating like Taco Bell or something. And I see this big, huge fat guy get out of his truck, and the whole truck rocks as he's getting out, and he has to stop and rest from getting out of the truck. He's leaning heavy. Yes. He's wearing overalls that are too short, and you could see his ankles, and they're all purple and swollen. And I'm looking at him, and it was like at that moment, I decided I have to stop doing this. And that is like the moment that I had. I'm like, I see this big fat person who's probably going to collapse and die any moment. And I said, I don't want to be that person. And from that moment on, I lost weight. And I'm like, I hate when I see these people, promote body positivity. And I've been banned. I've been kicked off a lot of these fat models, their profiles, all these comments, And I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you inspiring these women to, embrace their thickness and their curves? Because those curves eventually turn into rolls. And those rolls, turn into like diabetes and, morbid obesity. And,
right.
And I hate that. I don't mind people liking the skin they're in, but to actually glorify it to where people want to gain weight, I just think it's ridiculous. And I don't know why we have a population of people that support it. I've known people, I come from a fat family, and I've had family members who died because of their fat. And it's like, I will not understand why people think it's okay to promote that.
I think it's horrible, but Alex and I are thinner white women, so we can't say anything. But even
the privilege.
Yeah, we're the privilege. But even Jillian Michaels said something. Is that who that is? She said something about Lizzo, and it was more like diabetes, and she got shit on for saying that about Lizzo. But Lizzo is gonna have fucking diabetes, and it is a problem because it's health. This is your health,
right?
And they're not taking that Body Beautiful, great. Marilyn Monroe, she was a size 10, and great. That's fine to be comfortable in your skin.
But her arteries weren't clogging up at 40 years old,
right?
Yeah, I wonder how old Lizzo is. I mean, I know the name. I know she's a performer, a singer of some kind. I know she's fat, but I don't know. She's quite popular, isn't she?
She's very popular. She's very popular. And they said something, and she's a body positive person, and she literally is. I mean, she's got to be I would say 50 pounds or something like that.
Yeah. And she's 33.
She's 33?
Yeah.
She looks like she's 40 something. And
she's getting up there.
Yeah, and she's always in her thongs and stuff like that, promoting it. But it's there are health situations behind this where you're gonna collapse on fucking stage because your arteries are clogged and you have fucking diabetes, and it's fucking crazy.
I mean they have history to learn from. I mean, there have been fat performers who have I don't know if you know who Mama Cass was. She's part of the Mamas and the Papas.
She was the sandwich or whatever. Didn't she die from a fucking sandwich?
Yes. Yes, I mean she died doing what she loves. I mean, we could say that. But it's I don't get it. I mean, you know what? I'll tell you what pissed me off is when Adele lost weight, all of a sudden all the gays hated her. It's why do you hate her now? Because she lost weight?
Because she wanted to be confident? I think she looks beautiful.
I know. It's all of a sudden because someone loses weight, they get confidence and they feel good about themselves. You no longer could enjoy their tragedy. It's I don't get it. It's there's another one who recently lost weight. Is it her name Rebel Wilson? Didn't she lose weight?
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's why do you like people who are unhealthy, fat, and miserable? Why does that entertain you so much?
It makes them feel better about themselves.
I think so. I think it makes them more I don't know, they can relate to them more. I don't know, but it's just weird to me. Why do you want to wish the best on people for your entertainment?
And then I even feel like with everything going on with COVID, like why wouldn't people want to get their health together and go to a fucking gym? Like, like take the mask off and go for a fucking run. And then that's what's going to boost your immune system.
Right.
That's exactly how I feel about this whole thing. And I'm like, isn't one of the comorbidities in most of the deaths been they have all been obese or had something connected to obesity?
Yep.
So why would you not tell your people, come on TV, Dr. Fauci, and say, you know what, this is what's happening and it's killing these people and we don't want that to happen to you. So these are steps you could take to make yourself healthier and to make your odds of surviving COVID more. Well, I don't know why that's so difficult.
Well, instead they were giving free Krispy Kreme donuts to people who got the vaccine. So
wasn't it in Washington State? They were giving out joints, so then you can get the munchies, and then you can go to Krispy Kreme.
Oh my God! Every young person is going to Washington and getting the fucking vaccine and getting a joint. Definitely, I probably would have done that in college if it was like free joints. Yup.
Oh my God. It's just ridiculous. I recently just stopped smoking marijuana and that has been hard. That honestly, it's harder for me. I did meth for 10 years.
Did you?
And, from 17 to 27. And, originally it was because everybody wanted to be really skinny it was in the late 80s. So they go, oh my God, there's this new drug. And, and it was true. You would do it. You wouldn't want to eat. And I was already skinny anyway, but you couldn't be skinny enough. But, I did it for 10 years. And then I got off of it. And then, but, to compensate for to help me sleep, I would smoke marijuana. And that's just something I did up until a month ago for all these years. And it's really hard. I have found marijuana to be the hardest thing to stop doing because it helped me relax, it helped me sleep and everything. And now I don't have that. So there's nights I don't sleep because of that. Then I feel like a tweaker again. It's really weird.
So why did you stop marijuana? Because marijuana, it's legal because you're in Cali. It's legal there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can go right up the street and I can buy weed. Because I quit so I'm getting back into the transportation business.
Okay.
And you're frequently randomized drug tested.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm going to be 52 this year. And I don't know, I have really honestly not known what it feels like to be completely drug-free and normal. I haven't known what that felt like since I was 16.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't want to have to take these random tests. I don't want to have to hide and carry this fake urine with me all the time. Plus, to get started, they want hair samples and they want all of this stuff. And
just put on your wig. No,
I know. I thought about that. That's so funny because I thought about that. So I get a man wig and just glue it down real good. But so I'm sitting here, buying all this stuff like detoxify your hair and all this crap. Well, because I normally shave my head, so I said, well, I need to grow some hair so they can do a sample. And so I just decided one day, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to see what life is like without it. And I don't know if it's just been accumulating in my body for all these years, whatever, but it has been really tough. It's like day one, you notice a difference and you're like, all of a sudden you have you're pissed off. And so I was pretty bitchy and irritable. And, but I've lost weight. Not smoking weed. I have a lot of energy. I don't know, energy that's been building up in me, but I just want to go out and do things and I'm motivated. But I would, for the first 2 weeks, I would sweat while I was in bed. And, but still to this day, it's been a month now and I'm still having problems sleeping. So, last night I did a shot of vodka and it helped me relax. I think it's I just need something to take that edge off of anxiety or thinking about everything I've been doing through the day. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I stopped it. But I would love to smoke it again so I can get a good night's sleep. But hopefully I'll just organically reach that point.
So when I stopped doing drugs, heroin, opiates, crack, weed,
that's a lot.
Booze. I was heavy. It took me about 90 days to form a regular sleep schedule again. And now I fall asleep.
Wow.
a full 90 days to get it all out of your system, and now I fall asleep within 5 minutes, literally.
Yeah.
And Alex
Oh, that's
actually,
great.
Alex actually just is your how many days? 17.
16.
16 days of not drinking. She wanted to do a full
Oh,
45
rad.
days of no drinking just to kind of clear it out of her system because she was getting a little wild for a minute.
I mean, I've always been pretty wild, but yeah. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. But I noticed like I could not sleep in the beginning because my mind was going. And like, you know, when I'd have a glass of wine at night, it would shut my brain off a little bit and I would just knock out. But now, so, I mean, I'm like, my sleep's regulating though. I'm taking melatonin instead. And I feel better.
You know what? I took melatonin the night before last. I took 3 of them to figure I'm bigger, so I could take 3 10-milligram pills. And I did notice in about 20 minutes that I felt drowsy. I took a hot shower, then I laid down in bed, but it still did not sort of like overcome the thoughts and stuff. So it didn't work, and I just was kind of drowsy all night long. But I realized I'm just going to get out of bed and just watch TV or do something in another room. Because I was just laying in bed for 5 hours trying to sleep, and it wasn't working.
Yeah, and then you get even more frustrated.
Oh, and then you're tossing, turning, and Marquina wakes up, and it's a whole big mess.
Oh, no, Marquina snores. And Marquina actually gets a great night's sleep. In fact, she just walked in the room, but she gets a great night's sleep. But yeah, it's hard. It's weird. I mean, not that I'm glad this is happening to you guys, but I'm glad I'm not alone.
No. It literally 90 days. I feel like you're going to feel better. And I know that seems like so far away, but believe me, I gave up a lot of fucking shit, weed included.
God.
And it was in my system for about a decade. And it just, it's
you were really pumping that through yourself, weren't you?
Oh my God, I was a full-blown junkie. And it's funny, like if you look at me now, like you wouldn't ever think that. Like my teeth are perfect. Like I'm just like this white, blonde, thin, bubbly fucking asshole that like successful, so it's pretty funny.
I have a funny crack story.
I want to hear it.
So I went doing meth from like when I was a teenager till about when I was 20. I was always snorting it, and then I got into smoking it, and then I had a friend saying, "Hey, you want to smoke crack?" I said, "Okay, I'll try it." And so I try it, but I tried to smoke it like meth, which I didn't realize was a different way. I just thought, well, I'll throw it in the pipe and smoke it. I didn't realize that the crack didn't melt down. Like you had to actually burn. Didn't you actually have to burn the rock?
You put it in like a rose, and you just kind of like lit it.
Well, with meth, you would melt it down.
I've never done meth.
With meth, you put the rock in an actual pipe, and then you light it, and it will melt down into like it'll crystallize, and then you burn that crystallization or the liquid, and then you don't want to torch it. You just want to put enough heat under it to make it start smoking, and then you would smoke that. And so I tried to smoke crack like that, and it didn't work. It didn't melt. I know. I'm like, I didn't realize it, but I found out later. I'm also stupid. I spent this money on crack, and I didn't even smoke it right. That's a good thing because I probably would have been addicted to that too. But,
so you were addicted to meth for 10 years, you said?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is. It's so funny because, but it's odd because it was very easy for me to quit. I know it sounds weird, but I just kind of wait until I kind of hit these bottoms, and then I realize, like I did with food, and then I'm like, okay, I've reached this bottom, and it's been far enough. So in high school it was fun. I was with my friends, and we're all gay and skinny, and whatever, doing drugs, and it eventually I become an adult, and I have to get a job. And I'm still doing it, thinking I'm having a good time, but not realizing I'm using it to actually wake myself up in the morning. And it became just like a normal thing, like drinking coffee. And I would have to I would actually carry a glass pipe in my pocket, and I would smoke it at work to keep me awake. Yeah. And then one day, well, twice, I was coming home. I lived kind of close where I live now. I live in the Inland Empire of Southern California, and I was working in Orange County, which is an hour away. And the traffic is horrible. And so everybody would take shortcuts to get off the freeway and go through different streets to try to get home faster. And I eventually passed out, and I came into like a median where there's an island with trees and stuff, and I hit that, and I hit a tree head on, and then the glass broke from the windows, and I was all cut up and stuff. And then the car was still able to run. So I got it off the road, and I started driving it, and I didn't realize that there was this big branch hanging out of my back window, and a cop pulled me over.
Oh my God.
And he goes, "Do you know why I'm pulling you over?" And I said, "Yeah, I hit a tree." And he goes, "Yeah, and half of it is still in your car." And I went, "Oh." And then he goes, "Where are you going?" He goes, This is considered a hit and run." And I just looked down the street and I see the police station, and I said, "I was driving right to the police station." And he believed me. And he said I would get a ticket for the tree from the city, but I didn't. I never got a bill to pay for the tree. And another time, very similar situation, but I rear-ended an old lady who was parked in traffic. Like, traffic had stopped in front of me, and I had passed out, and I rear-ended her. And it was like, nothing. It's so funny because nothing really became of these things, but they were pretty tragic. And it just one day, I was in a relationship, and at this time, and the person I was in a relationship with, we had been doing drugs together all these years. And I'm like, I want to clean up, and I want to make something of myself. And they're like, "No, I'm going to continue doing it." So I broke off that relationship for a year until I can get off drugs. And then I got back into the relationship, and they were still on drugs. And then I got out of it, got back into it again. It was a very on and off relationship. And by this time they were off of drugs. And so the funny thing is that didn't seem to help, because we first fell in love, or so-called love, while we were on drugs, and the relationship just never could work again. It was just a different dynamic. We're no longer on drugs, and I no longer like this person.
Yeah.
Well, that's the common denominator, and that's the one thing that brought you guys together.
Yeah. So it was like, ever since then I stopped, the chemicals, and I just smoked, marijuana, well, it's safe and everything. But, the funny thing is, I still used it to regulate like my sleep schedule, and didn't realize how dependent I was on it. And they always tell you can't get addicted to marijuana. And I say, true, I'm not going to like steal my grandmother's jewelry and hawk it to get money to buy weed.
Right.
But I'm still dependent on it. And I just didn't like that dependency as well. So that mixed with the job and everything. So here I am, trying to be drug free, and suffering through it until I normalized. But I'm glad that you guys are great. I love hearing it. 90 days, that's a good number too. I've done 30 so far. So
yeah, I think you'll be fine, and probably like another 30 days you'll feel it more. Like, I used to feel pressure on my shoulders when I would go to bed, and I would just be up. And I remember being up, like reading the big book and reading books. And books were what kind of helped me fall asleep instead of TV. Because when you have the TV, you're just getting more blue light. And the blue light is what also, it stimulates your brain and it stimulates your eyes. So it's like, I always found that reading kind of helps me shut down a little bit more.
That's a good idea.
That's why I wear one of those masks.
Oh, yeah. Alex wears a sleep mask.
Yeah, because I have to have the TV on to sleep. Like, I need the voices in the background, so I just put the mask on so I don't have the light, but I can hear.
Did you guys ever try the videos on YouTube that are like the ocean sounds, or I'll put the earbuds in and I'm thinking, oh, the ocean sound will put me to sleep or whatever, but it never did.
No, it helps me stay up more. There's these Il-Faleggio charts or whatever it's called that help for stress and anxiety, and I would have those on in the background, but then I would always hear this creepy guy's voice as I'm sleeping, and I would jolt awake because this guy's in my fucking ear, and I was like, who is this?
Yeah, I'll listen to it. There's all these positive affirmations and stuff to try to instill some goodness in you while you're sleeping. And I'm like, this isn't working. This guy's weirdo. I don't know how people could listen to it and be comforted by it and go to sleep.
Just keep pushing through. I promise you, in a couple more weeks, you'll be so much better. Well,
I'm looking forward to that.
Hagi, I appreciated you coming on so much. It's not even funny.
You.
Alex, do you have any more questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Tell everybody where they can find you on your Facebook, on your TikTok, on your Instagram, and then you do like these amazing just karaoke videos too, which crack me the fuck up. You just like sing like Gloria Gaynor live and just fart with your fart machine. It's so funny.
Do you know there are people who legitimately like that, and they'll say, "When are you going to do another karaoke show?" And I'm like, "I'm all well, you know." Like the club that I was performing at, they want me to come back, and they love the way I mimic Cher. I make fun of her voice, and they want me to do that. I'm like, yeah, you can find me on Hogatha. Honestly, you can Google up Hogatha, and my picture will come up. It'll either be me or it'll be this character from the Smurfs that I did not know existed, named Hogatha. But you can look up Hog Kitty. You could look up Hogatha Sifty, like a cyst on your face with a Y at the end. But I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have a page and a profile on Facebook. So I have two pages. I'm also on TikTok. Hogatha Hog Kitty too. But yeah, I'm everywhere. And you just hit up Hogatha, and my picture will come up, and all my social media will come up too on any search engine.
And send her gifts, guys.
Yes,
just no more little girly things.
Show. People love the gifts. They really do. In fact, today I was saying, I'm going to cancel my P.O. box. The last 2 weeks I haven't gotten anything. They're all, no, I'm sending you stuff. I'm okay.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been great.
Thank you so much.
Shows.
Oh my gosh.
You ladies have been great.
Made me so happy that you came on. I am telling you, I have been such a huge fan of yours. And tell Marquina we said hi. We love her. And I cannot wait to see you live. Thank you so much for doing this.
I will. Appreciate you guys. That really humbles me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Have a great night. And tell Marquina we said hi.
I will. Have a good night.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Oh my God.
I fucking love Hoggy.
I think she's our soulmate.
Wait, guys, I was just sending somebody this the other night, telling him about Hogatha and how fucking amazing she is, and how these people would troll her in the beginning. And there's these pictures of her in makeup and shit that I screenshotted because I could not stop laughing at this. Somebody writes, Shrek is afraid of you. Somebody else writes, I love that you've cleaned your toilet bowl with your face. Somebody else writes, looks like a cross-dressing Shrek. Somebody writes, she looks like Auntie Grimace. And then somebody writes, someone take Uncle Fester out to the pasture and put him out of his misery.
Oh my God.
And then somebody else writes, you've definitely been fired from a job for stealing office supplies. But that's the type of shit, and it made me laugh so hard because she just made so much fun of herself and put on this horrible makeup, and it just was so refreshing to have this comedy skit. I literally would go home and be on my phone for an hour and a half just watching her perform live for Facebook, and it's so... I've fallen more in love with her since this interview. This interview meant so much to me. It's not even funny.
Oh, yeah.
But if anybody wants to see her, just go on Facebook Live and just watch Hogatha, and it's legit the funniest fucking thing in the world. And then she's on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Instagram right now. I'm cracking up.
And I love how she just says whatever the fuck she wants whenever she wants to. So, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Disappointed But Not Surprised. Go follow us on social media. Disappointed But Not Surprised is our Instagram. Disappointed But Not Surprised Pod is our Facebook. And our Twitter and our TikTok are Podcast DBNS. Brr! Brr! See you next week!
Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised.